And I met Greg. Greg actually contacted me because we'd had some contact over the years through something. You were looking for somebody, and I might have been president at the time, and my number came up, and you called me, and he rang me about 6 months ago, I suppose, saying, hey, I love talking to Rotary clubs. I'm a Rotarian as well, so that's how I got introduced to Greg. So it's lovely to meet him face to face today. So Greg Mickan is a former Rotarian and a past president of the Rotary Club of Kapunda, which sadly held its last meeting in 2022. Now in his 70s, Greg realised some years ago that it is not possible to eat junk food, drink beer and lose weight without exercising, which incidentally is the title of his best-selling book, which I have here. I'll just show you. There's page 1, something about beer maths there, and then the rest is blank. So you can see, get the vibe of what his talk is going to be like today. So he first heard about the concept of biohacking several years ago, and since then he's been utilising the principles of biohacking without going overboard and without living on kale or becoming a monk. He is the co-founder of a not-for-profit organisation, Biohacking Australia, the purpose of which is to provide generic, unbiased information about the benefits of biohacking. Greg lives in a small country town of Kapunda, in the it's Barossa, where he is a life member and passionate supporter of the local football club, the Kapunda Bombers, which incidentally Gildy's husband used to play for as well. Greg's hobbies include volunteering at a conservation reserve, bird watching, playing cards, and he recently undertook a paragliding course in Tamworth. He keeps fit by swimming, cycling and playing squash. And as a daily exponent of the principles of biohacking, he delights in sharing his knowledge about biohacking with others. So please welcome Greg Mickan.
Look at this. Sorry. Wrong place. I'm just a bit nervous being in such esteemed company. Heidi, thank you for your introduction and thank you all for the opportunity to meet with you all here today. Rotary is a wonderful organisation and an organisation from which I've met many influential and very interesting people through my time in Rotary. So thank you all. Now, okay. So the topic of this presentation is biohacking for Rotarians, also known as how to look and feel like a teenager again, but with better judgement. Who wouldn't want that? So just by a show of hands, how many people have heard of the term or know a little bit about biohacking? Excellent, there's quite a few. So often when people first hear the term biohacking, they think of hacking into computers, hacking into bank and email accounts, and I certainly did too. However, when we think about terms like gardening hacks and cooking and kitchen hacks, we realise that these are positive things, meaning hints, tips, tweaks about how we can get better results. And so biohacking is just that, hacking into our body's biology in order to look and feel younger, hopefully for longer. In fact, one of the best definitions of biohacking is making subtle changes to our everyday lifestyle in order to hack our body's biology and thereby increase our health and hopefully our longevity. Dave Asprey, who is considered the father of father of biohacking, actually founded the term approximately 20 years ago, so it's not a new term. And his book, Game Changers, is the one that got me interested in the topic. In his book, he talks about extreme things like ice baths and these things here. He also goes into how he experimented with microdosing with LSD, and I was talking to Ollie before, and Ollie said that he's done a bit of LSD experimentation back in the days. However, a lot of these things are costly and potentially risky unless done under supervision. So at Biohacking Australia, our focus is on natural solutions to healthy ageing and things that we can do in our homes, just a few minutes every day, not costly. And our focus is on having more energy, getting better sleep, less stress, and managing our weight. And a couple of disclaimers before we go on. You're not going to learn anything new or revolutionary here, so if you want to nod off and have a bit of a nap, now's a good time to do it. The second thing is that I'm not a doctor or a naturopath or professional of any kind, and so what I'm going to share with you is just what I've learned from my own experience and books that I've read and so on. So let's look at some hacks for having more energy. Has anybody heard of Brian Tracy or read this book, Eat That Frog? So those of you who have, and I'm pleased to see that many of you have, are familiar with the fact that he talks about likening the hardest thing you have to do for the day to eating a frog. And so if you just get on and eat the bloody frog first thing in the morning, you'll know that the rest of the day is going to be easy. And if you've got 2 frogs to eat, what do? You eat the ugliest one first. Sunlight, well, you all know that sunlight is important for vitamin D, strengthens bones, kills bacteria and so on. And morning sunlight is the best. Get up, and even if there's no sun, get daylight. It's good for the system. Nootropics are known as smart drugs, and they come in supplement format. They're liquid powders, available from pharmacies, etc., and they're derived from herbal plants. And they can help with brain function, memory, focus, motivation, and in particular, having more energy. And when you think about the properties of nootropics and the benefits of them, it will come as no surprise that one of the most popular nootropics in the world is caffeine. Other nootropics include things like ginkgo biloba, creatine, which is very much popular these days, and omega-3 fatty acids. Now, having ice baths is pretty good, but not all that easy. I've actually I'm about to sell my ice bath because my doctor said that it's not good for me at my age to be jumping into an ice bath. But having a cold shower has similar benefits in that it boosts blood circulation, metabolism, aids with muscle soreness, and depression and anxiety. And most people actually feel pretty anxious before they get into a cold shower. So, but if you just embrace the feeling, jump into it, the pain goes away. And a lot of people have said that as an energy boost, it's, as a matter of fact, I think it was David was saying before, talking prior to lunch, that the energy boost from having cold shower is not as much the same as snorting a line of cocaine, in that straight afterwards you feel very energized and you feel as though you could take on the world. And the other interesting thing is with a cold shower, when you get out of the shower, it's actually not, you don't feel cold at all. As a bit of a disclaimer, I actually, during the winter months, I do my cold shower the chicken way. So I wash my hair and body in warm water and then crank up the cold for a couple of minutes, and it does the same thing. So I'd strongly recommend it. It's one of my eat that frog things every morning. Drinking water, well, I won't labour that. You all know the benefits of drinking water. Some of us, when we get to our age, if we drink too much water or other things, we sometimes have to get up a few times in the middle of the night, which impacts our quality of sleep. So stop drinking at 3 o'clock. Who'd have feel out? Now, collagen. Being a mere male, I'd always thought that collagen was something that women put in their lips, a bit like Botox, to make their lips look fuller. But what I've found is that collagen is actually a protein that our body produces naturally, and it is an aid to healthy bones, skin, muscles, and it's actually the glue that holds everything together. In fact, the word collagen comes from the Greek word kolla, which means glue. So we can't measure collagen in the same way as we can, if we do, say, a blood test. So the only symptoms are, stiffness, wrinkled skin, muscle shrinkage, and so on. So some of the benefits of collagen supplements: it helps reduce pain, provides greater mobility, more energy, and helps us feel younger. Now, a lot of people, in particular women, take collagen because for their appearance, it reduces wrinkles and so on. As a matter of fact, it can take somebody from this to this in just 3 days. Only joking, of course, but for those who are technically minded, they want to know more about nootropics, collagen, adaptogens, or anything that we talk about here this afternoon. PubMed.gov is the National Library of Medicine, which has over 35 million citations of biomedical literature. On a personal note, since I've been taking collagen, not only has my mobility increased, that I've been able to get back to playing competition squash, something that I hadn't done for about 30 years, but the thing that I've noticed most is that the thickness of my hair and the speed with which my hair and fingernails grow has been quite remarkable, and which is a bit of a nuisance because I don't like cutting my fingernails all the time. Some tips for better sleep. Mentioned before about daylight. Important to get daylight because that's what helps our body produce serotonin, which it then turns into melatonin, which is the sleep. I can't think of the word. Adaptogens are derived from herbs and roots of plants, very good for managing stress and combating fatigue. Ashwagandha, ginseng are those you can see there. Meditation, a lot of people think that meditation is a little bit woo-woo, but for those who use meditation, it's been guesstimated by somebody that 10 minutes of meditation has about the equivalent of 45 minutes of sleep. I don't know where that statistics come from, but I wouldn't doubt it. And if you've not tried meditation before and you want a nap, Calm and Headspace are a couple that are quite good. About avoiding technology, things that are good to consume before going to bed: fish, kiwi fruit, almonds, magnesium. Try to avoid caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and sugary sweets. Another aid for getting better sleep is raising the head end of your bed. It can, in many cases, improve breathing, reduce snoring, and often aid with reducing acid reflux. My wife and I have just recently raised the head end of our bed a few months ago, and I have not heard myself snore once since then. Rotarians are very good at acknowledging people inside, within and outside the organisation, and so you all know the benefits of acknowledging people, whether that be privately, publicly. Gives a feeling of connection, helps reduce stress, and gives us better sleep. Adaptogens, won't go too much into that. Now, this is something that I've just heard people talk about a lot, and just because of, I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So most mornings, and I say, 6 times a week, first thing I do when I get up is just put on a pair of shorts and go outside, walk on the lawn, and even on the gravel. It's just for 5 minutes or so. The philosophy is, or the theory is, that the Earth's natural electrical charge is better absorbed into the body, and therefore helps with stress reduction, feeling pain, and reducing inflammation. I didn't really think there'd be much to it, but I'm a bit of a very strong believer in it now, and it's free. Box breathing. We all know the benefits of breathing, a lot of deep breathing. A lot of people don't know how to do it, and box breathing is probably one of the most popular ways. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale through the mouth, 4 seconds, repeat. And it doesn't matter whether it's 4 seconds, 5 seconds, or 10 seconds, but just the principle of breathing and counting has a very calming effect. If you've heard of Wim Hof, you'll know that you shouldn't really go down this path, but some of his theories on how deep breathing can help overcome a lot of pains, very, very interesting. Wim Hof, worth Googling, but I wouldn't suggest you do too many of his principles. Manage weight. Now, when I gave a presentation to the Rotary Club of Barossa Valley a few months ago, Keith Millington told me that he believes very much in the DES diet, and I had not heard of the DES diet. Has anybody heard of the DES diet? It's don't eat shellgrit, I think it is. Fairly simple. Think thin. Our subconscious is far more powerful than most of us are aware. Some people think that if they walk past a bakery, they'll put on 5 kilos. So a lot of it is in the mind. Intermittent fasting. I'm just mindful of the time. There's probably people in this room. A lot of people in this room would know a lot more about intermittent fasting than I do, but intermittent fasting and autophagy are cellular processes that help reduce weight. I want to skip over this because I want to cover a few other things just before we go. One leg standing, and some of you blokes at the mafia table over here, I would reckon that I'll talk about you blokes there. How many of you do one leg standing? Do you know what one leg standing is? Absolutely. So just stand on one leg and see how long you can stand, and then change legs, and then try it with your eyes closed. And it is very hard. Another exercise similar to one leg standing is brushing your teeth with your non-preferred hand. And I've been doing this a few times just lately, and it's bloody side more awkward than what I'd have thought. Give it a try. Read daily. You all know the benefits of reading daily. Keep moving. If you're sitting at a desk, it's very easy to say I'm comfortable here, but it's important to get up every 30 minutes and just move around. You don't have to do weights, but just get up and move around. Stretch often and laugh more, and obviously you people know how to laugh. And don't smoke. Now, I can't guarantee that any or all of these things are going to make you look like a teenager again, but hopefully they will help you to be more vibrant, energetic and effective as Rotarians and parents, and some of you might be grandparents or even great-grandparents or great-great-grand. As Heidi mentioned, Biohacking Australia is a not-for-profit organisation. We have a weekly newsletter with hints, tips and tweaks on how people can get better results from their everyday life. So if you would like to get that, you can either screenshot that or go to biohackingaustralia.com.au. And does anybody have any questions?
The latest fad is for everyone to get an injection of Ozempic.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I better not say. No good.
So for weight loss, I've seen a lot of my family and friends taking it with so significant results. But what are the side effects?
From my experience, most of the people who resort to that don't have the don't have the discipline to be able to follow it through.
Well, Rajiv, in terms of side effects, it's probably much less side effects than being fat. So in that sense, it's actually no. I mean, it's like if you do it literally comparison, it's not like what are the side effects itself. It's like what are the side effects in comparison to the side effects of the state that you no longer have. And so in that sense, it sounds like it might have side effects, but the side effects of being fat are probably much worse than having the side effects of having Ozempic. What I basically trying to ask a question is like, so a lot of that is nutrition. Nutritional science is, shall I say, a field that is occasionally changing its mind. Is there any, like, how much of that in kind of the biohacking community, how much attention is paid to kind of like research? And do you have any kind of like examples where research got overturned, where like there was something that like we're doing this, and then basically 5 years later research came out that kind of showed convincingly like, oh, this doesn't actually work, this is actually kind of like counterproductive if we kind of like doing this. So is there something where you'd say like well, if I would have given the talk 5 years ago, I would have said this, but now we're no longer saying that?
I think good question, thank you. From my own personal experience, I thought having an ice bath was going to be one of the best things, and I really felt very good benefits from an ice bath, having an ice bath. And I mentioned it in passing to my GP one day, and he said, "Look, at your age, you shouldn't be doing that. It's not good for the ticker." And so I sought information from somebody else, and I was told the same thing. And I said, "What about cold showers?" And that's a completely different thing. So that's most of the things that I talk about are things that anybody can do. As I said, I'm not a naturopath, I'm not a GP. I can't advise people on that, so I don't know what changes there have been in those sort of trends. But I think most people understand the benefits of sunlight, and in particular morning daylight. But if you're going to be exposed to the sun for too long, put the sunscreen on and things like that. So I don't think too much has changed in the areas of common sense. Yeah.
We have time for more questions. So, Joe.
Out of everything you do, what would be the number one thing you suggest everybody should do to change their life?
Thanks, Joe. The number one thing for me is, and I know that, put your hands up if you regularly do have a cold shower. About half a dozen. So my number one biohacking tip is to finish your shower with just cold water. And even if you know, in summertime it's easy because it's pretty hot. I just have a cold shower. In the winter months, it's just not quite as easy. I'm a bit of a chicken. I admire the people who just wade into the water when it's 5 degrees outside and just wade into the water and have a bit of a swim around and walk out and pick up their towel and just casually go back to their car. I don't know how they do that. I'm not that tough, but I cannot impress enough on the benefits of just finishing off your shower with just cold water. And even if you just sneak the hot, and I don't, I bite the bullet. But even if you just sneak the warm down and turn the cold up a bit, it has just for 30 seconds, a minute. Having played footy in a lot of places where in country footy like Robertstown and Udunda, where the Colts would use up all the hot water, and so you either went home muddy, or you jumped into a cold shower. You just had to do it. So. Yeah.
I got to agree with you. There's nothing colder than being around Udunda or Robertstown. That's a really cold part of the planet. Anyway, my question is, what about physical fitness? You've talked about squash. What else do you do? Weights, running, hill climbing?
Pretty much walking. I've run half a dozen marathons, and I would love to still be able to run marathons, but I've had a couple of knee replacements. So when I say I play competition squash, I don't win many games, and I play at a fairly low level. The Barossa Valley Squash Club, I thought was a squash club with a drinking problem, but it's actually a drinking club with a squash problem. But we do have a lot of fun, and so I don't do a heck of a lot of physical. I do weights at home. I've got a 10 kilo barrel bell, which I do 10 reps. I stand 1 foot in front of the other and pass the 10 kilo barrel bell around one way and then the other way and then change feet over. I do that once a day. I've got, I think they're about 4 kilo dumbbells. I just do some, it's important to do, weight bearing exercises for, strengthening the bones and the muscles around them. So that's about all I do. I swim, and I ride a bike, but don't do anything. I would have loved to been able to do paragliding as a sport, but unfortunately South Australian weather conditions aren't all that good, which I learnt when I was up at Tamworth. But anyway.
Okay.
87 next month. 60-14.
Sorry. I really enjoyed your address. I just want to share with you and Rotarians and guests here present that recently I had the opportunity to go skiing in Risutsu in the island of Hokkaido with a friend of mine who's got he calls it his bolt hole, I think, up there. It's like a Japanese style ski chalet. And so Andrew Geddes, who is a consultant to our accounting firm, is 74. Yours truly is 73. We're skiing down black runs, quite at ease. Andrew's had 2 hip replacements and he wears a brace on his knee which has got osteoarthritis. Yours truly's had a ruptured Achilles, and I can tell you about the ice baths on that later. But I've also got 2 new knees. And so I thought, going skiing, I need to be a bit better than just doing some squats and pitfalls. So I took up Tai Chi. So I've got a little guy about 3 inches high on my iPhone. Every morning I do Tai Chi. I've been doing it for about 3 months. And Tai Chi is easy to do. Doing it at home, it's very cheap. I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to pay a fee as such other than my fee each week. But Tai Chi is great for exercise, stretching, a lot of the things you referred to. But the other thing I was going to share with you is that Andrew Geddes does Qigong. Now, both of these have their base in Chinese or Oriental defense, sort of, that's where it comes from. But I recommend if anyone wants to get moving and stretching, it's a great way to do it. It's cheap. And if you do it regularly, I do it every morning, about half an hour, and it's a really good start to the day. But I think a lot of the other things you mentioned are fantastic. So I congratulate you on that, and I'll chat to you after the meeting because I've got family, friends from Kapunda. But I know it can get cold, as Jeff mentioned. And I thank you again. I thought it was really interesting.
Thanks, Stephen. Interestingly, I've just been getting bombarded with in Facebook about Tai Chi exercise programs that are available. You know, $5, and I'm well aware. Yes, but I think Tai Chi is something that's very good, and I'm about to embark on Tai Chi because it's. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just come back. Don't go away yet, because one of the other really good things is recognising when someone's done a really good job. It's another hack. And so we would like to say thank you very much, Greg, because I guess by the amount of questions being asked, your talk was really relevant to many of us, in fact, all of us. So thank you so much for reaching out to us and coming to speak. Can we all stand and thank Greg in our usual manner?